guys, this is going to be our demonstration for the Zoetrope. So you can get out all of the materials that you need, which are going to be the printout that you can create from the document that I attached to the Google Classroom. A piece of paper. This is cut from a 1.5 inch by 12-inch piece of paper. I'm sorry, it's not cut from it. It is created from a larger piece of paper. You need a pencil, an eraser, sharpener, colored pencils, or other coloring materials, whatever you choose. I have a black Sharpie here, but I'm not sure if it's going to be needed, and a ruler is very important. Now, you can print out the document here from the attachments in Google Classroom, which has all of the markings of where each of the images can be drawn in. We're going to create them on our own here. But on here, it also has an example of how a ball would be bouncing. So that's a good thing to have right in front of you too. So let's talk about how we're going to measure things out. So again, this was cut from a larger piece of paper, but we have a 1.5 inch tall by 12-inch long piece of paper. You don't want to go any smaller than 12 inches long because of how many frames you need. So each frame would be where the marks are. So the frame is going to be one picture to demonstrate your animation. So I'm just going to mark every inch on my ruler. I lined up my ruler at the very end because the edge of my ruler here is 0. Sometimes the rulers are different, so make sure you look at that first. I'm marking each one, and this is just light because it's just going to show where each image needs to be. I don't have to mark the top like these because it doesn't really matter. You want to just make sure that it stays inside this imaginary line. Okay? Now, just like in the description, we were talking about, or I was talking about, an ice cream cone. So we're just going to do an ice cream cone as our demonstration. The ball is a very simple one to look at on how it's bouncing. In the printout image, before printing it out, each of these balls were red. So you want to make sure that the color is consistent too. So here, if I wanted to start with just my ice cream cone, I have my sugar cone lines, and I have an ellipse here at the top to show that it's a 3D object. I would need to make sure that that cone is in the next picture too, the same shape, okay? And I'm just gonna add a ice cream scoop on top here. So you can do it two different ways. You can do something that's transforming, like the ball, or you can do something that is being added onto. You wanna make sure that these lines are all the same. So I have 3 that way, I have a few going this way. On the next one would be 2 scoops. So because that scoop's behind the other one, it overlaps. Don't forget these lines. Now this is going to transform all the way to the end. So if I wanted to end it by just adding like a cherry on top, then I can do that as well. So watch how you're progressing all the way to the end. So now because I have my entire piece drawn out, it can start disappearing. And when it starts disappearing and we're all the way over here, then we can start building it up again. But you want to make sure that the story makes sense from beginning to end, and especially if you are arranging it into a circle. So if this last one doesn't make sense to go to the cone, then we got to fix that. So we have our cone. We have our ice cream scoops. And this one is going to be the same as the one before here. So I'm going to make sure that there's an overlap. And then there's no cherry there. Don't forget the lines in your drawing. This one would just have 1 scoop. And the last one here would just have the cone. With the ellipse going on. So that would be the inside of the cone there. Okay? So if we were counting it out again, there would be 1 scoop, 2 scoops with a cherry, and then the building down. So if you wanted, you can make something else happen. Maybe the same thing happens and then their colors are changing. But basically the story needs to be from the beginning to the end, and then the end can go back to the beginning. It's going to be set up into a cylinder. So that's just how you are going to draw everything out. Then you're coloring everything in. Make sure that it is a story from beginning to end. Okay? Miss you guys.